What is up, everybody? My name is Jericholic8704, here to give you the top 5 wrestling matches to watch on a date. Now, I know if you're on a date and you're watching wrestling, something is definitely going wrong. But let's just say we're in an alternate universe where watching wrestling with a significant other is considered a romantic gesture. My only guidelines for this list are as follows. For one, I am under the assumption that the significant other has zero knowledge of wrestling. Second, this is going to be from my perspective, so I am a boy who's a wrestling fan showing a girl who has never seen wrestling before any matches. But here at Jericholic704, we do not judge, and people are free to do as they please. And lastly, this is not just bell to bell. Pre and post match segments definitely. So let's just dive right into this list. Coming in at number 5, we have Roman Reigns versus AJ Styles from Extreme Rules 2016. This is a very recent match, so that actually gets bonus points right away. You know, people will be familiar with these people if they were to pick up watching WWE. Roman Reigns and AJ Styles, you really can't go wrong with these two. If you're introducing this to a girl, Roman Reigns would actually be very ideal. You know, a lot of girls like Roman Reigns. They go crazy whenever he comes out. AJ Styles, as we know, is probably the best wrestler in WWE right now. And they had actually a pretty kick-ass match. Very hard-hitting, very engaging. It's a very, very fun match. Very easy to sit through. It's not too long. I think it's maybe like, 18 to 20 minutes. It's a very, very fun, quick, easy to watch match. Again, and your girlfriend will love Roman Reigns. Hopefully, she won't love him as much as she loves you, but he will keep her interest. Coming in at number 4, we have Bayley versus Sasha Banks from NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 1. Probably the best women's match in the company's history, I would think. You know, this is one of the greatest matches of 2015, if not the best match of 2015. Absolute classic. The story of Bayley, like, how can anyone not love Bayley, even if you're a non-wrestling fan? Even though Bayley's character she was the ultimate wrestling fan. Even if you weren't into wrestling, you could still find something to love about Bayley. Sasha Banks was a great heel. This is a kick-ass match. This is absolutely awesome. Bayley is super lovable. How can you not love her? And, the match was intense. It was great. Again, similar to Roman Reigns and AJ Styles. It isn't horribly long. I think it's a little over 20 minutes. Very easy to sit through. And, it's just the feel-good moment at the end when Bayley winning the championship. I mean, what can you do? How can that go wrong? Coming in at number 3, we have TLC 2, Edge and Christian versus the Hardy Boys versus the Dudley Boys. Now, this seems like a very, very odd, out-of-left-field pick compared to the last 2 entries, but hear me out here. I've heard that it's very fun to watch a horror movie during a date, because the idea is all the jump scares in a horror movie, like a slasher horror movie, like the jump scares and all that will kind of get you guys closer together, because you're kind of close on the couch together. But then maybe if you're a guy and like you have a girlfriend there and she's watching, maybe she gets scared and she lunges a little closer to you and stuff like that. So if you're trying to get that little mood together where you're getting a little closer to each other, this is the perfect match for you. Now, sure, there have been other death-defying matches. This isn't the most hardcore of hardcore matches, but the thing about TLC 2 is it's in the fine line between, at no point was I ever concerned that someone was dead, but there were moments that made me go, holy shit. And if they're a non-wrestling fan, they haven't been, they haven't been desensitized to all the violence in wrestling. You know what I mean? You could show them an ECW match and they'd about shit their pants. But TLC 2 has got a nice balance of holy shit, but you still are able to believe, okay, at least I know they all walked away and none of them are handicapped. You know what I mean? So, but think about all the crazy bumps. I mean, Edge spearing, Jeff Hardy when he's hanging from the titles. If that doesn't get anyone closer to you, nothing will. So this is kind of that horror movie mentality. Every single big spot, they're bound to get closer to. You know what I mean? Because they're going to be so scared. They're going to grab you, fearful of these men, and if they're going to survive this match. So that is my whole scenario behind TLC 2. It has to bring people closer together. There's no way it won't. Coming in at number 2, we have John Cena and Nikki Bella versus The Miz and Maurice from WrestleMania 33. Now, the match in and of itself, kind of shitty. You know what I mean? There's really nothing to write home about. The match isn't very long, which is actually good, because if this match went, 15, 20 minutes, this would be one of the worst matches ever. But for what it's worth, it's only about 8 minutes long. Majority of the match is just Cena and Miz. But, you get the best of both worlds here. Regardless of who, your girlfriend or boyfriend is that you're, trying to, show wrestling to, they can find something to love in this match. Not to mention the post-match, because that's what makes this match so special. The John Cena proposal, regardless of what you think, was really, really nice. It was really, really sweet, and it was definitely a great moment on that WrestleMania. And, anyone with a beating heart can really find enjoyment in that. And Nikki Bella's reaction, even though she knew it was coming, it still felt genuine. You know what I mean? Like when he gave her that ring, she just threw it on her finger. You know, it was, you could tell that even though she was totally in on it, and even though she had to have known it was coming, even if they didn't tell her, she had to have known. It was still a really, really great moment. And you can't go wrong with it. Everyone will find a reason to love it. And the match itself here isn't really all that important. That's not the good part. I mean, the other thing is familiarity. I mean, this match only took place, what, a couple months ago? Everyone knows John Cena, everyone loves John Cena, everyone knows the John Cena meme, everyone knows his theme song. So, anyone's familiar with him. You can't not love their little engagement thing at the end. And of course, the match is just a match. It wasn't anything special. Therefore, it is not number one, because if we are going to show anyone a wrestling match, it's going to be a great match, and it's going to have the best post-match segment of all time. That being said, number one, Macho King Randy Savage versus the Ultimate Warrior from WrestleMania 7. How could it not be this match? And if any of you are scratching your head, you've obviously never seen this match. This is one of the greatest matches in WrestleMania history, and it is the epitome. Can we just talk about this match for a second? Let's just take the circumstances of watching on a date out of this. This is one of the greatest matches ever because it epitomizes the idea of professional wrestling and the idea of getting the most out of nothing. 90% of this match is just clotheslines, forearms, and punches. And, a majority of the match is just Macho King and Scary Sherry trying to outsmart Ultimate Warrior and stuff like that. Even though this match is very hokey, I mean, Ultimate Warrior, he's like talking to the gods and he gets his energy by shaking the ropes. Even though it's so hokey, I have to put it at number one for that post-match segment. I mean, the match itself is very, very good. Very dramatic. Everyone was on the edge of their seat. That spot where Macho King does like 5 different elbow drops, like right in a row. Awesome. One of the best spots ever. Ultimate Warrior was great in this match. He played his role perfectly. Sherry was awesome in this match. And then those cuts to Miss Elizabeth. Even if they didn't know who Miss Elizabeth was, Heenan and Monsoon did a great job of painting the picture of who Miss Elizabeth was to Macho Man Randy Savage. In that post-match, where Sherry is just beating the shit out of Macho Man, and you see Miss Elizabeth hop that rail, awesome. And even though Macho Man stared at her for just a minute, you knew what was going to happen. I had seen this spot so many times, but I still lose it every single time because it's so awesome. I mark out every single time they embrace and they reunite. It's one of the best segments ever. It's so awesome. And it was so genuine. Miss Elizabeth was doing an amazing job. She was crying. You could feel that she really, really loved Macho Man. Monsoon and Heenan, they were selling it to a T. Everyone in the front row was crying. I mean, look at this motherfucker. This guy is on just every single, pro wrestling fan reaction compilation. Look at this guy. He is freaking out. Everyone, all these women in the front row, crying. And when he picks her up over his shoulder, how can you, if you do not get moved watching this, you are a weirdo. And if you're on a date with someone, you guys will just get married right then and there, because it is just, how can you not love someone after watching this? It is just an absolute awesome moment. So that's my list of the top 5 wrestling matches to watch on a date. I don't know how relevant or useful this list will actually be, considering a wrestling fan can't get a date. I'm just joking, people. But anyway, my name is Jared 8704, and I will see all of you guys later.